All right, in this webinar, we're going to go through the philosophy behind the Defy Your DNA protocol, just to get a bigger picture of what we're really up to. Before we dive into the details of how to work the Zyto and how to fill out the forms and how to generate reports, I think it's good just to take a step back and remind ourselves of what we're really doing and what this is all about. So we're going to take just a few minutes to go through the philosophy of the protocol itself. So in general, our goal is to help take the guesswork out of wellness for our clients. And so we're using a biocommunication tool to do that. And so we're using Zyto. But I often like to remind practitioners, we use Zyto, but we are not a Zyto practitioner. That's not who we are. We're not Zyto. We are practitioners who use Zyto as a tool to be able to communicate with our clients' bodies and to be able to take some of the guesswork out of wellness. But we really are bigger than the tools that we use. And so I think this is a nice distinction to not necessarily market yourself as a Zyto practice, rather what you are offering to the client. What are they getting out of being able to see you? And that's what the Defy Your DNA whole system and protocol is about, is what are they going to get out of this? And so I'm just going to walk you through some of the main touch points. Feel free to use any of these if you'd like. If you'd like to use some of these slides, let me know. I'm happy to share this protocol and this PowerPoint with you. But I often tell clients, our goal is, in addition to your personal goals, our larger goal is to help decrease stress in your body so your body's innate healing ability can work at its best and you can express your optimum genetic potential. And you have more power than you may have ever known in influencing your long-term health. And so here's some really good news. Your genes are not your destiny. Here's a great slide of the recent Time magazine cover, Why Your DNA Isn't Your Destiny, talking about epigenetics. And so just because your mom had breast cancer and your dad's obese doesn't mean that you're destined to express these same traits. We used to think genes determined everything from the color of our hair to the health of our body. But now science has really discovered that DNA is only a blueprint. And so we get to influence what we build with that blueprint. And so I let clients know, from each gene, over 30,000 variations can be built. So this means that our genes really no longer control our fate. We get to influence which of these genes get turned off and what we build from our blueprint. So the next logical question that a client's going to ask is, okay, well, how do we influence what we build? And so scientific research has shown that although we can't choose our genetics, we do have the ability to influence which of our genes get expressed or which get turned on or turned off. And we have the ability to turn on genes which promote health and turn off those which code for illness and disease. And these switches are called the epigenome. And epi means above, so it literally means control above the genes. And whenever we're communicating these ideas, it's really excited. As practitioners, we get so excited about the science of this and all of this, but I'm trying intentionally to explain this to you in a way that's really simple. And it's my intention to actually create an intro video around this topic so that we can communicate it kind of in kindergarten terms, so that even a child watching this could get excited about the idea that we get to control what we build in our bodies from kind of our set of plans or our blueprints. So, the next $1 million question is, what affects the epigenome, if that's ultimately what's controlling all of this? And so the answer is really surprisingly simple. Our epigenome responds to, number one, nutrition. Second, it responds to toxins. And third is stress. And what's neat to point out to our clients is that these are all things that are within our control. These are all affected by our lifestyle. And so there's many researchers who are pioneering the way, but a couple of my favorites are Dean Ornish. Dean Ornish has done some of the most amazing studies in relationship to epigenetics, and he's actually proven that we can turn off the expression of disease-causing genes. He's done some great studies with heart disease and prostate cancer and shown that by modifying the lifestyle, we can turn off the expression of these genes. He's published the first study showing that improved nutrition, stress management techniques, walking, and psychosocial support all work together and actually change the expression of over 500 genes in men with early stage prostate cancer. And so this study was conducted at the nonprofit Preventive Medicine Research Institute at the University of California, San Francisco. And this was published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. And what they found in the study was that the disease-promoting genes, including those associated with cancer, heart disease, and inflammation, were downregulated or turned off, whereas protective disease-preventing genes were upregulated, turned on. And so this is a neat graphic that actually shows the expression of these genes. So red indicates that a disease-promoting gene is turned on, and after their therapeutic intervention, you can actually see that these have been turned off. So this isn't theory. We're actually able to measure genes themselves and whether or not they're being expressed or they're being turned off. So this is profound because Dr. Dean Ornish is one of the first individuals to take this kind of as a pie-in-the-sky theory and idea and be able to ground it and really root it in some really nice solid science. And so the question is, well, how the heck was he able to make such an amazing change in gene expression? And you won't believe how easy it is. What he did is he had the clients exercise for 30 minutes daily. They did yoga or meditating for an hour. They had a social support network. And they focused their diet around eating a low-fat diet based primarily on fruits, vegetables, beans, and vegetable protein. And these are all things that are very easily, we can suggest many of these things and guide our clients in many of these facets of well-being. Bruce Lipton's another one of my favorite revolutionary researchers, and his kind of area of focus is how our beliefs can affect our genetic expression. He wrote an amazing book. He has several great books, but one of my favorites is The Biology of Belief, which helps to tie together the pieces behind how can something as kind of non-tangible as our beliefs affect something as tangible as the physical health of our bodies. And so that's a great read if you'd like to take a look. And so our goal is to help our clients really develop lifestyles which help them turn on healthy genes and turn off genes which are making them susceptible to illness or disease. And so this is what Define Your DNA is all about. It's about keeping wellness really simple and breaking it down into the tiny little, what are the little things that they can do to add up that'll make a big difference. And so what's neat about studying the epigenome is that it's not kind of black and white. It's very gradual, and every single decision builds on itself. So literally, every decision moves you closer or farther away from health. Cells have memory, and so every little positive change builds on itself. And likewise, every negative change can build on itself. And so just reminding our clients that it's not about some big, huge, grand acts. It's just about stringing together a whole bunch of little decisions every day that are going to move you closer and closer and closer to health. And so when we're talking about health, the way that I typically describe it is that, we can make health as difficult and complex as we want, or we can make it really simple. And there really are three main reasons why we lose our health and our quality of life. These are also the three main reasons why we express those genes which code for illness or disease. The first is that there's too much of something in our body that it doesn't want, and these would be living or environmental toxins. Second reason is there's not enough of something that it needs, whether that's vitamins, minerals, sleep, exercise, all things that nourish it. And the third is stress. Stress coming in the forms of physical stress, emotional stress, and also environmental stress. And so common sense tells us that the path to regaining lasting health and to be able to express our optimum genetic potential is just to reverse these three factors. And so our customized nutritional and lifestyle programs for our clients is really geared to help them accomplish three main things. And there's little play on words. We have our DNA, which is DNA, which breaks down into DNA, which is our 3 steps to optimal genetic potential. And so the first one is detoxify. We want to help them detoxify and clean out their system. Second step is to nourish, strengthen up their body and help them to more effectively, number 3, adapt to stress, whether it be physical, emotional, and environmental. So instead of chasing or masking symptoms, our goal is really to get to the source of where our clients' body's overwhelmed, helping them to kind of solve their riddle of their health puzzle. And so this is what we call define your DNA. And when we support our clients at this level, the gains that they experience in health and their quality of life will be dramatic, and they'll also be sustainable, which is really exciting. So I hope that you can kind of understand the potential of what we're up to here. You know, it just brings us to this whole another level of potential for our clients that they might not even held for themselves before. They didn't even know that these possibilities existed. And so, you know, for so many of us, we think, well, I've got bad genes. There's not a whole lot I can do about it. And now we realize this just simply isn't true. And the most important things which affect our genetic expression are within our control. And so our genes really are only a predisposition. They're not written in stone. So if we have a strong family history for prostate cancer, breast cancer, heart disease, so-called bad genes, that simply means that we might need to make bigger changes in lifestyle in order to help prevent or even reverse these conditions. So I'll leave us with this philosophy here with a quote from our wonderful colleague Bruce Lipton. I think he articulates the hope and potential of epigenetics best when he says, you know, with epigenetics, we really are no longer victims of our genes, but masters of our fate. So I hope that I've been able to plant the seed of some inspiration. It's such a great honor to be working with you all as colleagues and be able to be embracing this potential that we have to really give everything we have to help positively influence the life of others.